Hey, it is me, your girl Denise. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm on my school bus. It is the afternoon, and I am sitting here waiting for my kids to be released out of school at 3:05, or 3 o'clock, I mean, and so I can take these babies on home. Um, I still got two more routes to do after this, but this is the biggest one. Um, Anywho, so hey, yeah, before I get going, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for coming on, watching my videos. For you that's like my videos, thank you. If you have not, please push that button, like it. Then I want you to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please push that bell and subscribe. Also, comment. Please comment. Talk to me. Hang out with a girl. Tell me what you think. All of that good stuff. I appreciate you. Much love. Thank you. Appreciate you. So, today, now, you know that, when I talk, most of the time, I talk about relationships, right? And I believe this is where it all come from. So let me share a little story real quick. And I got some stuff and some notes and things I wrote down when I kind of chat with you. So anywho, years ago when I was like maybe in my early 20s, but before I got to my 20s, I had joined this church called Faith Temple Church of God in Christ here in Omaha, Nebraska. And at that time, this particular time I'm about to tell you about, I was a young mother and I was married, but at that time I was going through a divorce. The divorce was my idea. I was young, very immature, didn't know what I wanted. I was just all over the place as far as my mind and making decisions. I didn't know how to be that wife. I never seen it. Home examples. I seen people in church, but I didn't see their everyday life. So I didn't grow up with a real example of a healthy marriage and how two people work together in a marriage. So I was like I was super early. I married in, I think, how was I? 20, 21, something like that. I was young. So anyway, so at this particular time, we used to have a youth revival at a church. And I believe it was every year that a evangelist will come and evangelize. His name was Joseph DeSager. He's gone on now with the Lord. But he would come and he would do the revival, the youth revival. So this particular time, I can't even tell you what he was preaching, but it was good. But I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But so I went down to the prayer line, to be, pray for, because, just, I was young, at that time I was going through a divorce. It was, sister girl was, I didn't know nothing. I know me, I was, and that it was me that wanted the divorce. And it's a lot that I had to learn along the way. Sometimes you learn the hard way. So anyway, like I said, I didn't have those examples, so I didn't know what to do, how to do this, nothing. So anyway, so when it was time for when he approached me, when the evangelist approached me, and he asked me, did I want the husband that I have now? And I'm thinking, like, Who done told you about my business like that? Now he was from uh, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I'm like, what you know, right? Who done told you now? So he was like, I was like, at that time, I was just so self-absorbed in me, and not knowing and not having really, just, I don't know, which is like wise counsel as I probably should have gotten. I mean, I had some great friends, but I just probably wasn't just ready at that time. So anyway, so I was like, no, sister, ready to move on. No, I'm good, right? So then he said, okay. He said, God is dealing with you about relationships. And I'm like, okay. And at that time, it didn't resonate with me. And as we know, as believers, that you with the Lord, when He gives someone a word and they come and they prophesy to you, prophesy over you, and this authentic person in the Lord, and with having a spirit of discernment, that's what I mean. And so I didn't understand it at the time, and it didn't, I didn't see it from my perspective, right? So some things that God give you, it may not manifest this week, next month, next year. It may take years for it to come into the fullness of the manifestation of what God's trying to teach you. Chastise, he said, don't despise his chastisement. So things that he's trying to, we go through things because he wants to teach us and grow us up, right? So it took Sister Girl a long time, I went through some stuff to learn that, and I'm still learning. So anywho, so I was like, so he prayed for me, and since that moment, I was dealing with things about relationships, not just relationships where I was in a relationship, marriage, but it was relationship with friends, with siblings, with co-workers, just different dynamics dealing with relationships. So today I'm going to talk about healthy, unhealthy, and things of that will hinder you as far as your walk in the Lord, as far as relationships. So this is it right here. So an unhealthy, conflicting relationship can be incredibly distracting and spiritually draining, pulling your heart and mind away from God and the path He has for you. These types of relationships often brings confusion, emotional turmoil, and doubt, which can cloud your discernment and affect your peace, productivity, and passion. So just think of it like this. So here it is. Say it is, Mary and James. I'm just shooting out a name story. And so here it is. Mary, she really, really loves this guy, James. They meet, they fall in love, they love each other, but their relationship is unhealthy because they both came from really bad, painful relationships from the past. So their past, and without them dealing with their past trauma and their hurt, and themselves learning for them to heal, because they haven't healed and they haven't learned themselves. They haven't grew up, so here it is, they still got all this compounding stuff, and they're bringing it into this new relationship because they didn't, you don't deal with that. So here it is, Mary is fighting to save this marriage, not marriage, just relationship, because they're not married, just say they're not married, fighting to save this relationship in all type of ways. Now it's a distraction. Now it's got to the place where it's so emotionally draining that she just, spiritual walk has just dropped, right? No more praying, no more studying the word like she used to, just out of sync with the Lord. Just, her relationship with the Lord is just really shaky because she's so busy trying to build this relationship with this man, James, that she just really lost herself. She lost her passion. Her passion was, your passion could be writing. Your passion could be serving your community. You're going to the Francis house or whatever, and that's your passion, is that you love people and you love to serve and help others. Now you lost that because this relationship that you're trying to build is just so crazy toxic, right? And so one of the things I wrote down, I'm just going to share one for right now. It says, it divides your attention and affection when you're constantly managing conflict, trying to please someone who isn't aligned with your values, or dealing with emotional unrest. Your attention naturally shifts from God and from God's will to self-preservation of trying to fix a relationship. How many times can you say that there was a relationship that took so much out of you that you didn't even have enough energy to do nothing else? Everything, your reading, you used to love to read, everything is gone now because you have been so self-absorbed with this relationship, and you can't. Now you have lost your way, your passion, your drive, your fire, for God, for God's work, for God's will, for the purpose that God has for you. So with that, also I wanted to give this scripture. It's in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24 in the NIV, New International Version translation. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. So while this verse speaks about money, if we go and you look up the scriptures, a couple of scriptures before that, the principle applies here, that your devotion is divided, right? Your devotion is divided. You can't. You're so overwhelmed over here trying to do this, trying to, hang out with James, trying to see how we gonna fix this. 1 minute is sweet as pie, the next minute you guys ain't speaking, ain't no more communication, and you unrested, you unsettled because you ain't heard from James. You don't know what's going on. You don't know where you stand at in the relationship. And every time, you two have this conversation, is you back on some past hurt, even within the relationship that you try to build together, with you and James, Mary and James, y'all trying to build, but it's because the things that you guys didn't agree on, or whatever the case may be, you talking about the past stuff, and it's just hindering the progress of moving forward. So just be mindful, be sober, be vigilant, and know what is healthy for you. If you see or you feel that it is pulling you away from God, then there's a decision you must make, because nothing and no one is more important than your relationship with God. So also it says, so your devotion is divided and God is no longer your primary focus. The brother man is, the sister girl is. So just a time where go back, we said go back to your first love, go back to God, and pray and ask him for guidance, and if this is for you, to let you know, so you can make sure that relationship is in alignment with his will. All right, I'll talk to you later. The kids is at my door. Bye bye.